How much money did Major League Baseball lose for COVID 2020? Let's talk about that. Hey everybody, this is Heather. Welcome back to another podcast episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. It could be a two-parter, but let's jump right into it. So we all know that Major League Baseball, just like NBA, NFL, all these other teams have lost quite a bit of money. But COVID just decided to happen pretty much close to baseball season, and I feel like baseball lost maybe partially quite a bit more money. I don't know, that I haven't compared notes or anything. So in this article that I found by Bleacher Report, it states Rob Manfred says MLB teams combined for a $3 billion in losses amid COVID-19. So this came out back in October. So of course it forced 898 regular season games to go on without fans this summer, which really did them, I think, dug a hole basically for every team. They dropped a combined total of $3 billion in operating losses, which is, of course, a lot of money. Now, the clubs have done a really good job locally, and we tried to do a good job centrally, Manfred told Ronald Blum of the Associated Press. So I think that this has just been a difficult time for all sports, of course. And so while the league was able to account for the 40% of revenue, only 40%, I mean, that's better than none or 10 or 20%. However, it really needs to be more than that, at least 70 to 80% worth of money, because you get all these smaller teams who's not really making a lot of money, such as the Orioles, per se. These teams are going to be hurting, even more so than usual. Now, let's see. Manfred said that he is worried about the future financial situation of the league if the pandemic does not improve in time for fans to attend games next year. So I'm going to leave it as that. Of course, I'm going to drop all of these articles in the description below, like I usually try to. Now, you look at all these teams and what their payroll is like. So we're just going to jump into it. Now, this is sorry, my computer's being real slow. I'm using two different computers right now. One to record and then one to, of course, research on. Now, the Los Angeles Dodgers, of course, has the most right now out of anybody. They have $171 billion, $425,000 in their payroll, right? So that's their payroll right now for a 37 man roster. Yankees are, of course, their second. Mets. I was really surprised about the Mets having the third highest. But then it's the Angels, Astros, Red Sox, Cubs. With Epstein leaving the Cubs, is that going to make a difference for them no, I don't think so. But at the same time, isn't it a little weird that he just all of a sudden left? Something must have happened. Anyway, let's get back to today's podcast. Now, the Phillies are in 8th, of course. So all these teams, the league average, of course, is pretty much the worst. You got the White Sox coming in at number 16 with $90,662,499. That's, of course, is still a lot of money. But when you're looking at a professional team, that's really not a whole lot. Then you look way down at the bottom at number 30, and you're going to see the Orioles. Then 29 is going to be the Marlins, 28 Pirates. So you look at all these, and you kind of compare all of these, salaries and everything in between. Gosh, how can you outweigh such a hard time like this compared to other teams who still has a lot of money to spend? I mean, you're already hurting as a team, right? So how do you save a little bit of money? Well, I know this is so old and everything in between. However, I think it would still be a decent method to use in this time frame. Whether or not everybody's using it, who knows, right? Okay, so I'm talking about the Moneyball effect. If you know, I really do like this effect. I think it worked really well. However, now that everybody knows, of course, it's a domino effect, and everybody wants to do it. It's a trend. Everybody wants to see if they can do this. Now, it seems like the Moneyball effect maybe has kind of died out a little bit, but is it time to bring it back into action? So between 2000 and 2006, Oakland A's went on to average 95 wins, capture 4 American League West titles, and make 5 playoff appearances. Although baseball scouts and general managers initially scoffed at Moneyball principles, they slowly began to realize the validity of the theory and sought to take advantage of it. The Red Sox tried to hire Billy Beane, who actually created this Moneyball madness, but they were unsuccessful, of course. Instead, they hired Bill James, the creator of Sabermetrics, on which Moneyball theory is based, in an adversary capacity. Over the years, Beane's Moneyball theory has had a lasting legacy in baseball, allowing teams with significantly lower budgets to choose players that will allow them to successfully compete with big market teams such as the Red Sox or Yankees. Or now you look at it, the Dodgers. So, in all of this madness, what's going to be the best bet to save a little money, but still try to win enough games to at least get, if you're allowed to have some fans in there, to get fans to come, or, merchandise. How are you going to do this? What can you do? Baseball's all about, promotions and things like that. How are you going to be able to get your money back that you kind of lost? You're not going to get all the money back, but how can you get at least half of it back to where you're not struggling? You're already struggling, so how can these lower school baseball teams get money? Can they just, invest on, I say invest, it's hard to invest when you don't have any money, right? Not a whole lot of money in your pocket. So, coming up with, ideas, maybe minor league baseball players, you can probably get them for a little bit cheaper to come up to start the season. I really don't know how that would actually go, but you can look at their stats and stuff for minor league baseball. Can they compete? They don't have to play the same position. You can kind of train them to work a different position if that's the case, right? Maybe so. I know Billy Beane did that with a player who used to play catcher, but he couldn't because of an injury or whatever. So they're like, okay, let's go first base. If you've seen the movie Moneyball, you know. It just things like that. So in part 2 of this episode, that's exactly what I'm going to discuss and to talk about, is the effect that it could actually have. It could help and it could not help. Would it be worth to try it again? I'm going to talk about that in the next part of this. Sorry guys if this is boring to you, but I love this kind of stuff. Maybe I'm not the only one, but Moneyball was a really big factor in a lot of things. So the last thing I want to say for this is, according to a 2013 article on MLB.com, now all this I'm getting online, guys. I do my research. Okay, Moneyball has played a role in 15 of 30 teams getting into at least one postseason series, not a wild card game, but a postseason series. The last 3 years, Moneyball may also be why 9 franchises have won the World Series the last 13 seasons. This was according to a 2013 article, of course. So, is it still worth to do it? I'll talk about that, okay? So, thank you guys for tuning in for part 1. I will see you in part 2. Thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, too.